abusuya minche na msanso mu akwa basonko so from a channel so had say be media GH abusuya for ene eyade a lawyer Martin Kpebu yes a legal private practitioner aba bonten no ba beliki so me sembi e dia fa OSP Kissi Agyaben na eyade lawyer Martin Kpebu so abusuya sanso member of the oral team operation recover all loot or member na papa aba bonten na just this time we expose OSP Kissi Agyaben big time o cheni semu a wa Kissi Agyaben OSP wo mom na ba bonten ebe kan say abra kind of oriata edwane afri Ghana krom ha no wo Kissi Agyaben wo hu ye na ni na ne say na ye former president na Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo ono na president inti na want to me unstop no na ni na ne say letters na osa ekan ye say eyade a OSP sorry kind of oriata edwane efi krom ha no abusuya wonya bi ema wo de sa letters no wo de bi de call NIB ene immigration office abusuya ensem no dɔso pese yeko na yetie ensem a kyese lawyer Martin Kpebu kyese wa expose Kissi Agyaben a enya asem ketewa yenko ne ntie ensem no mu ankasa enche mo cheni semu a say Kissi Agyaben resign yes this is the time I say Kissi Agyaben resign because otie ensem a Kissi Agyaben ba bonten be kana ono nanu mu nsem na abusuya na twetwe na so kakra yentie ensem a lawyer Martin Kpebu abusuya de tudwa efa OSP Kissi Agyaben a efa kind of we ata in the extradition process when na sesia that so be media GH but modi aso be subscribe be like na wa bo aso share ma for person no anya bi ati.
Let me start with you Martin. You yourself had your own battles with the OSP recently. Today you were before the OSP.
Yes, absolutely.
You were invited formally by him.
Yes.
Okay, what happened?
Oh, so to be clear, I'm not being investigated for any offense, right, at all. But rather, I'd made some comments, and which he says I should come and clarify. Putting it bluntly means they want some evidence to back that to help the corruption fight, right? Yeah, so what are those comments I made? Number one, and that's the most salient, and that's something that by now the special prosecutor himself, the SP, should have resigned. That is the fact that he finally came to confess, right, I think on the 5th of November, that before Oforiatta traveled, Kissi Agyaben, intercepted the letter Oforiatta wrote to both the incoming chief of staff and the outgoing one. He said he intercepted the letter, then he ran to NIB, didn't get help, ran to National Security, didn't get help, and ran to immigration and didn't get help. This is a big indictment on these institutions, right? We'll come to that. That's a separate argument. But worst of all, it didn't occur to him, the man who had done Akroma press conference, it didn't occur to him that he should blow the whistle. That's inform the people of Ghana through a presser. Do a press conference. Hey, people of Ghana, I have clear evidence of Oforiatta is about to travel out of Ghana. I've gone to these institutions. They are not helping me. So come help. You know how many people would have taken steps, besiege the airport to prevent Oforiatta from traveling? And even at that time, look, ORA, I was part of the ORA team. We were working. We had security couples, Kpebu is on the ORA team. And there were people back room, people who were supporting.
SML was part of those incidents that you investigated as part of ORA, correct?
The receipt, receipts of we're basically collecting,
which is also what the OSP was looking.
Yeah. So, but the key thing is that so he says he got the letter. Oforiatta says I'm traveling. Well, for medical, let's leave out the reasons. But the main thing is that he says he's going out of Ghana. Kissi Agyaben had the letter and sat on the letter. Come on, look.
But you yourself have said that's not what he did. He tried to get the state agencies to intervene to help him secure him. And they didn't. He says that didn't happen. Oh, so he didn't sit on it.
So far, I can tell you, Evans, an authority that I spoke to somebody at NIB. That person was in charge at the time. He says he has never received anything from Kissi Agyaben, meaning that now Kissi Agyaben must produce evidence. What did he take to the NIB man? Right, for now, I just want to leave out names. As now we are advocating for full investigations into this matter, we'll call the NIB man. Kissi should come and show what did you take to the NIB boss at the time. What evidence did you take to him? In any event, your own law, section 28 says you have police powers. So what is it? What was so difficult about arresting Ofori-Atta? It says officers to exercise powers of police. So I'm reading the Office of Special.
At the time, they could have only held him for 48 hours.
But then you go to court. Yeah, you hold the person.
They didn't have enough to go to court at the time, obviously.
Excellent.
It's taking him this long to go to
you know
court.
I don't want to argue about
78.
That. Yes, perfect.
Charges.
Yes, granted. He didn't have enough to arrest him. Then why did he say so in the interview? You see him. He says he got wind of it, he intercepted it, and went here, trying to stop it. If you say you don't have enough on him, why are you stopping him? So you see the problem. If you don't have anything on him, why would you be going to, allegedly, because like I've told you, the BNI man is denied. So we have to push this into a commission of inquiry. He still has to lose his office over this. Remember Watergate? Nixon, president, lost his office. You can't sit. Our chief prosecutor, Evans, listen, it's not a rant. We are talking serious constitutional law. It's not a rant, except that because it's so shameful, this is a big embarrassment, yet we are not waking up to it. That's why I think I have to ratchet up the conversation, increase my voice. I'm not agitated, but I mean, I want Ghanaians to look, when you look at the, what do you call it, our constitution, all right? You see sovereignty in the preamble. You go to Article 1, Clause 1. The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this constitution. You go to Article 35, it's there. 125 is there. So where allegedly, because those institutions are yet to respond, if some institutions are allegedly frustrating you, blow the whistle, come to the people of Ghana. You remember in 2020, when Akufo-Addo was frustrating Martin Amidu. Amidu came out and said, Akufo-Addo is mother serpent of corruption, the Japadier deal. And you see what we did to Akufo-Addo. You see, he never recovered from that thing. He never. So Kissi doesn't understand the principle of civic oversight. Citizens have oversight.
I'm curious, when you appeared before him today, what happened? What happened? They asked you to provide the evidence to back your accusation?
Yes, so we couldn't get to that stage because, you know, it's stage by stage. It's a committee. So we raised some legal matters.
So there was a committee that was set up by the OSP himself?
Yes.
Okay, to look into the allegation?
So let's say this. No. I wonder if we say look into the allegations. They basically want to receive more information from me, which I will do. I'm not running away from. The first one is even there. His own video, I'll play out to him. In his own video, he said that he got the letter, etc. So that's the most important one. The other one's conflict of interest. You know, the conflict of interest allegation I made. Right now is before Shraj. So I produced that evidence. The next one is when I said they are corrupt. But that one too. Who produced evidence? Even in the video.
So did you give them that today?
No, we haven't reached there.
Okay, so why didn't you proceed?
So
beyond?
We have to do some housekeeping matters. You know, back for example, you tell you procedure is very important. So when you are doing optics, the optics are very important. So the composition of the committee.
But this is interesting. Is there a provision in the OSP's law that allows for this committee to be set up when somebody accuses him or something?
So he's not investigating me.
Okay.
That one to be fair. They are not investigating me. Putting it succinctly, they're just saying that give us more information on these matters you've raised. It's very clear. The letter they wrote to me says, I'm not under investigations.
Okay.
It's not that they are going to finish and say, Kpebu, you've done wrong. No, that's not it. That's why I said, simply put, Kpebu, give us more insights.
But do you need a committee so that you can simply go there and submit a petition or a complaint, if you like, and add all the evidence to it?
So that's another option. So we'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'd already announced that I was going to petition for his removal.
Have you done so?
No, we are still, with hindsight, as we are gathering the petition, you put together all the evidence.
So you're not putting together evidence?
Yes, but
if you're putting together evidence, why do you make explosive allegations against him?
Some of it, the most potent one, he himself brought us the evidence, is a KSM tape. He says he intercepted a letter and went to NIB, allegedly, let me use it because I don't want NIB and the rest to say I'm fewer. Yes, but as I say, NIB, the man says...
So that the earlier point you made, I think that you've emphasized.
That's the most important thing. That's the most, he says...
So there, are you challenging competence?
Yeah.
Is it competence you're
Yes,
going to
and
raise?
I actually say collusion when you've seen the man. Of course, competence is easier, but I want to say such obvious gani. You say you see the
That's
man.
a serious accusation.
Yes,
you have the evidence to back.
Look, when that fails, you see, you said competence. Competence is so obvious. So if I want to ratchet it up and say it's deliberate, and they say, oh, it's not collusion, but it's incompetent, I'll still win anyway.
Okay.
They are together. But I want him to feel the moral culpability. You see Oforiatta leaving Ghana, and you couldn't blow the whistle. Oh, come on, Evans, look at it. Look at it well.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll see if indeed you are able to discharge that responsibility of backing those claims before the OSP. Just a brief comment on this, because this has to do with Oforiatta, and I know you are well briefed on the matter. The OSP obviously is looking into him and the evidence.
Oh, no, they are not looking into me.
They are looking into the claims.
No,
the claims
they just are going to receive further information from me. Then they will see what
they're seeking to receive further information from you to see what it is. Okay.
Do. Yeah, we are all citizens. So,
okay, good.
But except that, as I said, this is not with Kissi.
Okay.
Gone like 3 months ago.
Firstly, I would disagree on many fronts with my brother.
Okay.
The OSP cannot investigate himself. The OSP, the SP, that is the special prosecutor, he's the head of the OSP. And so if you have allegations against him, the forum to resolve those allegations certainly would not be the office of the OSP. And tactically it's even not good, because presenting those evidence to him, right, by submitting yourself to him, you are submitting it to his jurisdiction. You are agreeing that he should resolve those matters. What if at the end of the day, he rubbishes every allegation you have made? You wouldn't have gotten justice. But that said, even if you scrutinize what my brother is saying, I don't think that there's sufficient evidence on the basis of what he's saying to remove the special prosecutor, unless you want to do the Tokonu kind of removal, right? Otherwise, there's no basis. I agree with him.
On what point?
On the point that the OSP, there was a misstep in terms of how okay, let me put it this way. In terms of his claim pertaining to the failure to arrest Ken Oforiatta, I think there's a serious problem there. As to whether or not that is a sufficient ground for his removal, may require some further interrogation. But why I'm saying that whole thing supports the claim that I've consistently made, that the OSP, in terms of Ken Oforiatta's matter, right, there is more to it. And this reinforces.
What more is there?
There's more, the pursuit, his pursuit of Ken Oforiatta suggests some motivation other than, genuine interest in pursuing him for a crime that he has committed. And I'll tell you, firstly, if you recall, when he did his first press conference sometime in March or so, I came out to say, look, why don't you charge this man in absentia if really you have something against him?
He was still gathering evidence,
but
which is now before court.
If you were gathering evidence, when did he charge him?
This week.
This week.
I mean,
when you got to know that the Interpol red alert had been removed.
That's circumstantial. I mean, you can say that it's coincidence.
My brother, if you
and to be fair, when he did a press conference a few weeks back, he was clear that he was going to go to court with the charges, and he gave us a time frame.
When
for that.
was the red alert removed?
Honestly, I don't know. Do you know?
My brother, listen. You see, very respectfully, you know why I will respect people around me? We all went to the same school. Are you getting me? I would never think that I'm more intelligent than you. Never. And so I expect you to think the same way. It is when I do so that I'm likely to fail.
Yeah.
When I respect people's intelligence, I'll be more guided and indeed guarded in my actions and inactions. And I think that is the situation that we are all experiencing in this country. People holding offices sometimes think that they are more intelligent than others. But we went to the same school. I get to me. In some instances, there are others who are more intelligent. And even if not more intelligent, perhaps after school, they've acquired substantial experience that we may not have. And so when you are dealing with people, respect them. Kpebu referred to his power of arrest. Do you know that the BNI, which is now known as the National Investigative Bureau, doesn't even have the power of arrest? It arrests in collaboration with other agencies of state that have that power.
i.e. police.
I.e. police. And so the OSP is in a special category. It has the power of arrest. When you have the power of arrest, do you go to NIB that doesn't have the power of arrest?
But I made the point to him. What are you going to arrest him for? You can only hold him for 48 hours. He hasn't finished gathering his evidence. So
in my response...
The powers of arrest...
Wait, bear with me. I beg you. I didn't interrupt you. Bear with me. In my response, I will say to you that if nothing at all, let's look at how the other state-owned state agencies, state security agencies, are handling persons of my party stock, NPP.
We've condemned it. It's been condemned.
It's been condemned, right? Nevertheless.
You have, at least.
Yes, it's happening. Is it lawful? It might be an improper exercise of discretion, but not necessarily unlawful. Okay? But it's happening. And so if indeed he wanted Ken and he had a genuine case against him, he would have done that. All that he's trying to do now is to ramp up public sympathy for himself. Ramp up public sympathy for the office of the special prosecutor. That's all he's been trying to do. Press conferences upon press conferences, right? And when you even file the charge, you've read the charge.
Yeah, 78 counts.
Very ridiculous charges.
Why? Causing financial loss to the state. Conspiracy to influence.
Do you know the OSP's mandate?
Corruption-related offenses. I guess we summarize it as such.
And corruption-related offenses under Act 29. That is the Criminal Offences Act. Corruption and corruption-related offenses under any other law, right? And breach of the Public Procurement Act. The fundamental question will be the charges preferred against him will come under that category. We have to interrogate whether or not the facts will even support it. We have to interrogate. I'm saying that as far back as February or March, when he did his first press conference, made everybody to believe that he was bringing Ken down wherever he is, you know, call it Rambo style, and so on and so forth. We came out to say that, look, stop these press conferences, pursue your investigations. If you have anything or basis upon which to charge him, proceed against him. At that time, my brother disagreed with me. We were both on City, Channel 1. And I told him that he can be charged. Ken can be charged in absentia. If really...
No, to be fair, I think I've heard him also make that point.
On that program, he
wasn't. But later...
Yes. You disagreed with me.
Because I've spoken to many times where he's made the point. But he was the first person to make the point.
No, I made that point on City Channel 1 when I was with them.
Then maybe I hadn't heard of Oriate's issue.
It was on Oriate's matter. The two of us were...
And to be fair to him, though, I mean, and because he's here, I don't have to speak for him. But I remember that he put in a context of Oriate saying, I'm available, and you and me saying, send people there and interview him or do it. Okay, but in that particular show, he disagreed with you. Okay.
He disagreed with me and even made reference to the number of years he has been at the bar. There was a little...
Well, you were the one who brought
No, you brought it up.
You said, I said, I'm not much older than you at the bar.
You made reference to the number of years you have been at the bar.
Okay, I mean, but that's okay. That's
we are friends. We are very good friends.
That's past. You're making a substantive point.
Is that, my brother, somebody is playing with all of us, our intelligence. And that is one of the reasons why sometimes, you know, I go or I touch on these matters. Because, look, let's respect everybody. Something really doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up.
But you concede, though, this is due process.
What is due process?
What is happening now? The OSP's work targeting Ken Ofori-Atta is due process.
What part of it is due process?
He has suspicions against him. He investigates. He seeks to arrest him. And anybody else who allegedly conspired with him have been arrested. And he continues to investigate. When he has enough, he's filed the case before court, 78, just coming. And the man is, because the man is out of the country, he then begins a process to get him to come down. He interacts with him and his lawyers. They gave him a promise. On the date, he didn't show. He says he was not well. He extended it. He removed the notice from his website. And then the next date that he had agreed, he didn't come. I mean, that's due process.
So the exchanges between Ken's lawyers and the OSP, if I fairly recollect, it was in the midst of it that there was a press conference. Was it necessary?
He was sitting updating. In fact, the OSP law mandates him to update the public, to update Ghanaians.
What form?
He can file a report. There are reports by
every 6 months,
yes.
Annually.
And what form should the report take? Should the form be a press conference, simply convicting the person in the media?
He was just giving us the evidences gathered so far.
If you've gathered evidence, that's why I said if you've gathered evidence, proceed to court.
He has done so now.
At what point? Between February and now, we have heard, for instance, how he himself has confessed to witnessing Ken leave the country, right? Yet sat down without doing anything.
But that's not accurate. He went to other agencies, the immigration, etc.
So
that he has police powers, he should have arrested the person.
I have exposed you to the inconsistency in that statement, to the untruthfulness of that statement, being that he himself slept on the job. He slept on the job. He has the power of arrest, but failed to exercise it. Now comes out to blame that on the government of the day, that because Ken is the cousin of the president at the time, that is why he was helpless.
But that's factual. I mean, factual as in he is a cousin. I mean, and obviously at the time, he asked the question, who was the president at the time? You don't expect that the state agencies would cooperate with him.
No. Did he need the cooperation of state agencies? Did he? When you have the power of arrest, when people go to his office, he effects arrest there. He effects arrest when people go to his office. He effects arrest there. So did he need anybody to assist him